Quick disclaimer that anything I say here is a opinion. Nothing here is fact. If you don't agree with some of my opinions, write down in comments why you think I'm stupid. Also, just because there's anything negative about Jason or any character in the future does not mean I think that they suck and they're the worst in the game. I just think they have a few bad aspects about them. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Now, I know you've seen the title and have probably come to the conclusion like, well, he's a starter character, so he's supposed to be pretty bare bones. But the issue is, most starter characters from some games are pretty easy to understand, but they do have something complex that makes them fun to play. However, Jason has none of those, and is really simple and has nothing, no skill ceiling or no nothing to him. He's easier for new players to get into and want to play him, but it's harder for older players who keep playing the game more to want to keep playing him even more. Given the same level of enjoyment as something like New, which I will get into a different video later. But basically the issue with them is the fact that once you've played them for a bit, you kind of want to play other characters, and then after you play other characters, it's no longer fun to keep playing that character over and over again. Before we get into it, I want to break this video down into 4 sections. That being his abilities, his gameplay, the problems with the stuff, and my solutions to Jason. So let's start off with his abilities. Up first is passive, which is mute. Basically, you won't hear layers until you're like really close to him. Pretty simple stuff. Next up is the slash, which is just, the fuck? Okay, I'll just dumb it down. Basically, he does an attack that does 20 damage and has a bleed for 1 second, which means in total he does 28 damage. Jason's also the only character in the game where his slashes pierce survivors. Next is behead. Basically, on hit, you give the survivor a helpless 1 for 14 seconds. And regardless if it hits or not, you get slowness 1 as the killer for 2 seconds. Next is Gushing Wound, which is a close range punish move that does around 15 damage if you hit it. His last move is Raging Pace, where Jason becomes enraged. Well, in this effect, Jason is slowed down to a basically faster walk speed of 19.5, and the aura of the survivor next to him is revealed to him. While in this effect, Jason cannot be stunned, and sprinting is disabled. While in this effect, basically every one of Jason's moves gets a damage buff. So now that you know his abilities and how they work, let's get onto his game plan and how you're supposed to play him. Now, Jason's game plan is pretty simple. You are a targeter. Yeah, that's his whole thing. That's kind of why his Raging Pace only highlights one person instead of the whole lobby. And the reason why he's a targeter is because he doesn't have any map by pressure, like with John Doe's traps, Cool Kid's minions, or 1X's entire kit. So the only real option is either target one person out of the game, or get someone to 1 HP and then go find someone else to attack. And that's kind of the whole new player aspect where you don't want to be with everyone else, but just this one person in front of you and attack them only. You may be wondering, what's the issue here? You know, it's new player friendly. You know, you've got your slash, you've got your distant slash, and you've got your close range slash, and also your thing that busts slash. Yeah, this character is just all slash, and that's the problem, is that there's nothing unique about them. The whole thing is that they slash, and that's it. Every one of his moves is just a different variation of his regular slash. Not to mention, this character has like nothing rewarding about them when you hit any of these. Because trust me, I've seen a lot of Jasons, and it's neither fun to play as, play against, or even watch, because I had to run a tournament where most of it was just Jason. And the issue isn't just the fact that he just slashes, but it's the fact that like, you don't feel like gratitude for hitting these slashes, right? It just feels like a regular slash, but like slightly different. The only one that's slightly satisfying to hit is Gushing Wound. And the only reason that's satisfying is if you parry it, or if you punish someone really well with it. Otherwise, the only time you're going to be using it is if someone's on a gen distracted and you get a free 50 damage because they weren't paying attention. And when you can maybe argue,
technically that's his whole playstyle, his whole thing is that Jason is a person that's a slasher. He's supposed to slash.
The thing is, that doesn't even fully work out because he has a chainsaw, so at the very least, he could use that for some of his kits. But instead, it's just machete for 90% of it. Not to mention, in one of his kill missions, he actually starts using his hands and starts throwing hands against the survivor. So I don't see why they couldn't incorporate that either. The issue is that you see all this stuff about, you know, him using his chainsaw, you see him using his hands and a machete, and you expect him to use the whole thing, you know, chainsaw and hands and everything. But instead, it's just machete. Take for example Cool Kid. He may be the easiest character to win as, but its stuff to hit are really satisfying to hit. Hitting across map, prep nature, or a wall speed override from a far distance is always fun to hit. But Jason's whole thing is to get close to you and do a variation of his slashes. But that's it. No ranged abilities, nothing that is really satisfying, no long range attacks. The only satisfying thing you can do with him is to get a Raging Pace parry along with a Gashing Wound. That's all he's got. If you thought I was going to win this whole video without talking about hitboxes, then you're completely wrong. Because while yes, 9 times out of 10 it's usually probably ping, Jason gets away with it the most because how busted hitboxes can be sometimes. Not to mention he has the second fastest swing animation in the game, meaning it's hard to react to and it's also hard to juke to it. So this creates a cycle where neither the survivor is having fun because his hitboxes are so big and his attacks are so basic, and the killer isn't having fun because again, his attacks are basic and there's nothing interesting about him. The reason most people play as him is just because of his skins and his chase themes. So what can we do to try and fix them? Well, I've got a couple ideas.
This comes from Bacon, Egg, and Cheese's ancestors.
Now I have a couple of suggestions that they could probably use. For example, reworking them. Just kidding, no, I'm not using that again. But I would like him to add a different move so he can have something fun and unique about him. One of them is giving him like a Springtrap Pro Chase 2 style axe throw. I do have a concept for what it could possibly look like right here. Now the idea with this is, just like with Pro Chase 2 Springtrap, is that once he throws it, he switches to a different playstyle. Using either his hands or his chainsaw, doesn't matter. And it could either replace the move like Behead or Raging Pace, preferably Behead, or it can just be an add-on to his moveset already. Now because Jason is a targeter class, I was thinking that if it hit a survivor, that it would get stuck inside the survivor, and the only way to get it back is if you either did a Gushing Wound, or if you killed the survivor. Now I don't know if this will be busted or completely imbalanced because I haven't tested this out because it's just kind of off the top of my head. It's mostly just because he needs changes because currently he's really boring to play. Because little sites over here, I've gotten every killer to level 100. And Jason was the last one that I played because I knew how boring he would be if I had to just grind him for hours. Now if you don't like Machete though, I was thinking something else along the lines of changing Raging Pace to, instead of it being a basically stamina gain tool, to instead use it so once you use it, you use your chainsaw during that certain period. And it can do the same effects as Gashing Wound, or it can just have a more devastating bleed effect. Now this would still technically have the same issue of it's just all slashes, but at the very least it's using something different in his, fit, which is the chainsaw. And maybe the chainsaw actually gives a dash move depending on which move you use. Like Behead gives a long dash move, and Gashing Wound gives like a really high damage, like a higher damaging than normal Gashing Wound. Now again, right now, I'm just throwing shit at wall and hoping it sticks because most of these are probably really busted. All I'm trying to do right now is to give him something unique in his kit that isn't just a regular slash. And it's also easy to use because he is a starter character. And that's really about all I have right now. If you have any other suggestions for like what he should have, leave a comment down below. And if you're a Jason main saying, actually he's really fun if you do this, let me know down below because I have no reason to really play Jason right now because he's that boring. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. I'll probably make another rant video like this if you guys really enjoy it. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys all in the next one.